In the fall of 2020, Grandma Jo left Florida and returned to the place she loved most. She was happy to be home.
How are you feeling being back home now?
Oh, it's really nice. I'm enjoying it.
What do you like about being home?
Oh, it's just home. And even if you go away, you never forget the home is here.
Shortly after Grandma Jo returned to the farm that autumn, Uncle Keith sat down with her to conduct what would be her last interview. This is the story of Josephine O'Brien King's amazing life, as narrated by her 14 grandkids.
What's the best part about being a grandparent?
Oh, well, you have all these, well, they're not all real little, but they're all wanting to hug you and love you. And so that's great. I never thought I was going to have any grandkids. And then finally they started, and all of a sudden, just so many. And then I couldn't believe it when I was having great-grandkids. That was really amazing.
Josephine Margaret O'Brien was born on December 7, 1921, the same year as England's Prince Philip, astronaut John Glenn, and celebrities like Donna Reed, Chuck Connors, and Carol Channing. Josephine would be the middle child of 8 siblings. As you can tell, the O'Brien 8 grew up in humble surroundings.
One of the many things that I admired about Grandma was her ability to love so unconditionally, and I'm really thankful for that example in my life.
I remember one of Grandma Jo's most consistent outfits. It was a simple white t-shirt and blue jeans. She would wear that outfit when she was working in the garden, or when she would drive me into town to go to the store and I was sitting in the back seat, or when she would make me a peanut butter and jelly sandwich in the kitchen. And it was a simple but beautiful outfit, and I think speaks very much to who she was as a person.
A lot of fond memories involving Grandma. This time of year really reminds me of her, particularly because of our birthdays being one day apart. And growing up, I used to tell people we shared a birthday, even though we didn't. But one birthday stands out to me in particular. Her and my dad would send each other this same birthday card, this one card that would go back and forth with each other, giving it to each other for each other's birthdays. And one year, I received the birthday card in the mail when I was in college, so I got to be in on the birthday trend. And that card ended with me because I never sent it to anybody else. Oops.
It's like she didn't even have a bad bone in her body. One thing I loved about Grandma was that she just had such a loving, caring, nurturing demeanor about her that was just always present, always felt whenever you were around her, any room that she was in. She was just so loving and patient and kind. I loved how she always made all of the cousins each individually feel like they were her favorite, and I definitely was her favorite. After graduating high school and business school, Grandma Jo decided to leave Central Illinois and move to Los Angeles, a bold decision for a single woman in the 1940s. She arrived in LA on her 21st birthday and would live and work there for 10 years. And from the looks of these photos, Grandma Jo had a good time. She was young, beautiful, single, and of course, always stylish.
During the LA years, she would return by train or airplane to visit the family in Illinois. She loved her visits home, and on one trip, her brother Walt insisted she go out with him one night to a local dance.
I had gone home from California for a visit. I usually went like once a year. Walt, my brother Walt. So he said, and I'm going to be back, and then I'm going to pick you up, and we're going to take you with us. And I said, oh, absolutely not, because I didn't, I'd been gone, I didn't know anybody. And he said, no, you're coming with us. And we took off for this place that always had the dances. So we went, and I was just going to sit over along the side, and this one guy, they called him Junior. They never did change that. And he came over and just got a hold of me and took me out and started dancing. And so we danced the rest of the night.
That Junior was Forrest King Jr., our grandfather, a local farmer with good looks and enough swagger to woo this big city girl. In the coming days, Josephine and Junior spent a lot of time together.
He loved the ball games. So we'd go to the ball games, and then the nights that we didn't go to the ball games, we'd go to where you could dance. And then I went back to California.
And when Grandma returned to California, Grandpa continued to shower her with attention. He put pen to paper and wrote her letters. Only, as Grandma tells it, she was not very good about writing back.
I always hated to write letters. And so I guess when I finally answered one of his mother, you remember Grandma, she came running out to where he was working to give him the letter.
Grandpa King's persistence paid off. Grandma Jo decided it was time to leave California and return home. She and Grandpa would marry inside the Immaculate Conception Catholic Church in Ohio, Illinois.
Did Dad pursue you in your relationship?
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he was there pretty regularly. He said, would I marry him? Would I consider marriage? And I said yes.
Over the years, the couple worked hard, building the farm business and raising a family. They had a total of 6 kids.
Yeah, I always said I wanted to have 6. I always said that. Then after they started coming, I ate those words a few times.
Together, the pair was social. People liked being around them. By today's standards, they were a power couple. They worked hard, they traveled, and they laughed a lot.
My favorite memory of Grandma Jo is the day she took me out to the bank next to the local Walmart. She drove me there in the old Pontiac Firebird, and once she was done with the bank, we slowly pulled out and ready to leave the lot, only to have some lady jump in front of the car, screaming with her hands waving, telling us to stop. She was stopping us because Grandma Jo had left the passenger side door open and was about to drive onto the highway. After Grandma closed the door, she slipped me $20 and said, "No, let's just keep this between you and me." That is my all-time favorite memory of her, and it makes me love her even more.
My favorite memory with Grandma is the memory that I have of us going up to the farm each summer, and Becca and I would get a whole week to ourselves just with Grandma. She would take us to the Holiday Inn pool. We would pick green beans in her garden. She would take us to the family video. It was the best week of the summer.
One of my favorite memories of Grandma King was when I came down from Wisconsin. I drove down, and Grandma, Lori, and I were all sitting around the dinner table, laughing, having a really good time. Grandma was always full of love, and she always had a smile on her face, and really just brought a smile to everyone's face.
What I admire most about Grandma King was her commitment to her family. She was truly dedicated to her husband, her children, and her grandchildren. Whatever she did, wherever she went, every morning at her breakfast table, her closest friends and family were there. She even stayed behind a time or two with her grandson so that Grandpa could check out the President Riverboat and Casino.
One of the things that I love about Grandma and that I appreciated, especially as I got older, was her ability to be so present to the people around her. Whether or not she could hear or really understand what was going on, she just had a beautiful and joyful contentment in her spirit that was always just noticed, especially over holidays or really any time together. And I just really cherished that, and I learned a lot from it.
By the time Grandpa Jr. was in his 70s, he became sick. And in 1996, Grandpa passed away inside the farm home where the couple had lived for 5 decades.
In the years to follow, Grandma Jo did what she enjoyed most. She worked in her garden, read, traveled, and spent lots of time with her kids and grandkids.
We're gonna see if it's a boy or a girl.
Girl.
Yay!
We were Chris was telling me her rationale.
It's a girl, Grandma.
Like, oh, that makes sense. So
It's
she
a
was
girl.
Like, well, I only just had brothers.
And she was thrilled to meet her great-grandchildren.
What do you think?
Oh, it was beautiful.
One of the downsides to living a long life is having to say goodbye to loved ones. When her sister and close friend, Aunt Jenny, passed away, Grandma would be the last of the O'Brien 8.
That was so hard to lose her then. And I was alone. I mean, for brothers and sisters. There was nobody left.
And then, in August 2020, her son-in-law and my uncle, Michael Beale, passed away, unexpectedly due to a heart attack. In her interview, Grandma talked about her love for Mike.
Oh, and it seemed like when Mike died like that was so awful, because he really was like a son. He just...
That's been hard, hasn't it?
Yeah, really hard.
Okay, here we go.
Weeks after Uncle Mike's passing, Grandma Jo decided to leave Florida and return home to the farm. Now, keep in mind, this was during the pandemic and before any vaccines. Travel, especially for the elderly, was not recommended. But that didn't stop Grandma Jo. She was ready to go home where she could watch the corn harvest, spend time with her kids, grandkids, and her great-grandchildren.
But do you like being able to look out and see the tractors?
Oh, I love that, yes. Yeah.
Why is that?
I don't know, it just brings me back home.
And everyone was so happy to have her back home.
You see Jim right there?
Oh, right there.
I'm going to photobomb you.
Oh, Jim.
Here you go. Hi, Dylan.
Hi.
He's back now, Mom.
Oh, I'm really happy.
You're really happy.
I'm very happy.
Good. I'm so glad that you get to be there. Such a great turn of events.
I know.
So happy for you.
Yeah, we needed some happiness.
I used to come up with these stories off the top of my head, and I would ask Grandma to go ahead and write them down for me on a piece of paper, and I just remember her very small, precise handwriting, and yeah, that was always something I enjoyed.
So one of my fondest memories of Grandma was, I think it was my junior year of college. I went up and visited her for fall break, and we just kind of hung out. I think we got like a 5-box disc set of John Wayne movies and watched one a night, and it was just a really awesome week of just learning more about Grandma. We told a ton of stories, a lot of history about the farm and growing up there, and it was just something I really cherished.
What I admire and love so much about Grandma Jo was her willingness to say yes to all sorts of adventures in life. Most specifically, moving to California at a very young age and starting a career.
So it's hard to come up with just one memory with Grandma, but one that came to mind for me was we used to go to the Days Inn pool, the hotel in Princeton. Grandma would take us to go swimming. Whatever cousins might have been home that summer would obviously come along and go swimming all day. Grandma would sit by the pool and get a tan and of course get in and swim with us, and that was always just a lot of fun.
The thing that I admired most about Grandma was her constant discipline with reading and praying, saying the rosary every single day. I just always thought it was amazing that through the years she always stayed so disciplined.
That saved a wretch like me.
In the days leading up to her passing, we all gathered to say goodbye, either in person or on Zoom.
But now I'm found, was blind, but now I see.
On the morning of Tuesday, November 10th, Josephine Margaret O'Brien King passed away peacefully in the same room where Grandpa had passed. She was surrounded by family and love.
And grace my fears relieved. How precious did that grace.
Grandma Jo lived an amazing life. A small town girl who moves to the big city, only to eventually find love back home and return to her roots. She set the example of how to live life, with curiosity, adventure, faith, love, and of course, kindness.
Grandma's Catholic faith and love for family were always most important to her. Grandma leaves behind a large family and a great legacy. And when asked what advice would she give to her grandkids and great-grandchildren, she offered these simple words.
Be real good to each other and love each other. Yeah, just be happy and don't try to run the world. Just go with the flow.
Miss you, Grandma Jo. Think about you every day.
You're a part of me forever, Grandma.
I miss you, Grandma.
I love you, Grandma, and I miss you every day.
Hi, Grandma. Sending you all the love of the holiday season.
I love you, Grandma, and I miss you.
I think the best part about Grandma Jo is how much she loved our family. She cared deeply for everyone in the family and wanted us to make sure that we loved ourselves and pursued what we wanted to do the most in life. She's a great person and an even greater Mima.
I love you, Grandma Joe, and I think about you every day.
Grandma King, I miss you and I think about you often. You provided a blueprint for what I want my family to look like, and I hope I make you proud.
Miss you, Grandma Joe.
Frida and I got to visit with you in Florida at Chrissy and Mike's right before we moved from Alabama to Philadelphia. And we treasure that visit and our time that we got to spend with you and Chrissy and Mike was an example of the kind of love that you inspired in us and in our family, and something that we strive for daily.
I love you, Grandma Josephine.
And it seems fitting to be here at church. I miss you, Grandma. I love you. And please say a prayer for me. Love you.
Nice. Say, love you, Grandma. You say, love you.
Keep a little kiss.
Little kiss. Yeah. We miss you, Grandma.
You have quite a family, though.
Yeah, I do.
You should be pretty proud of that.
Oh, I am. I really am. Just so proud.